Hey guys, it is semi-final time for this year's Currie Cup, or last year's Currie Cup, don't really know how to say it. The Bulls versus the Lions in the first game, but this game that we're covering now, the Western Province versus the Sharks, it's going to be a big one. Unfortunately, no live stream for that one. I'm traveling this weekend, but for everyone that did join last weekend's live stream, thanks for that. It was an awesome one, even with the load shedding problems and all of that kind of things. But anyway, getting into this game, if you look at the table, that's how it stood, the Bulls being at the top, even though they had that one game in hand, or one game more than the other teams. Western Province in second, Sharks, and then the Lions. Getting into this specific game, the last time these two teams played, the Sharks beat the Western Province, or then the Stormers, by 24-14. That is back in 14 March 2020, because these teams didn't play in the Unlocked or the Currie Cup. Both of those games were cancelled due to COVID-related issues. The Western Province, they are in a 3-match winning streak. The last game they played, they beat the Cheetahs by 2 points. We didn't call that one, and it was a last-minute kick over from Sweel. I didn't think he had that kick in him. Then the Sharks, they lost 2 games, and then they won the last game that they did play against the Griquas. I think that was by 28 points. This game is being played in Newlands. It might be the last game being played there ever. So quite something that the Western Province would want to play for if it is the last game. So that might be weighing on their minds. Morris van der Westhuizen being the referee for this one, I haven't preferred him so far this season. He's been messing up quite some games. A lot of red cards and yellow cards being given out from the guy. So hopefully we don't get a semi-final being ruined by cards in this one. The history between these sides, pretty even. Going into the two sides, they have both changed up quite a little bit. The big change for the Western Province, Kitsov missing this game at number 1. He's been probably one of the best scrummagers in the whole competition. With him out, does that mean the Sharks might target scrum time? Because the whole game has kind of been locked in as a big forward pack from the Western Province versus a Sharks backline that's just been performing really well. So how does this let the Western Province stand against the Sharks? I don't know, because Ali Vermaak, I think this is only his second game he is playing this season. Look, he is a good scrummager, really good scrummager though, but he's not Kitsov, so I don't know how that's going to go for them. Thomas Toy, he's back for the Sharks, big guy for them to include again. And that makes them have 2 Springbok props on their side versus Frans Malherbe and Bongi Mbunambi from the Western Province. Also 2 Springboks in the other front row. Fezo Mbata at number 2. I think Bongi probably has the upper hand there at line-out throws. When we get into the line-out jumpers at the number 4 and 5s, Salman Murat, he comes back in, probably one of the better jumpers in South Africa at the moment, joining Schikkeling. A very settled combo at the Western Province at the moment. JJ van der Mesht, he continues at number 4, adding size to the Sharks pack with Ruben van Heerden. I honestly probably would have started Hiron Andrews at number 4 or 5, doesn't matter, but he's one of the better jumpers in South Africa. I haven't seen that quality jumping from JJ van der Mesht so far. He has lost quite a few balls in the air, so that competition might be a big one. Then we get to the number 6s. Both teams changed that, and the big one is Siya Kolisi being back for the Western Province, so they do get their captain back. The problem I do have with him back in the side, they then do not have Kutsia in the side or Kitsov to tackle or to get the ball at breakdown time. Let me rather say it like that. So breakdown time might be easy for Richardson, because that is where he thrives to get that ball from the breakdown, and might be a favorable position for the Sharks if they can get it at ruck time. Henko Venter versus Johan de Tooy, they've been pretty even so far. Henko Venter, he's kind of adding to that leadership roles of the Sharks. Noche at number 8 versus his previous team. He hasn't played against them since last year. Has he even played against them? Yeah, he did play last year against them. And then John Augustus at number 8. He hasn't been in his best form so far. He's pretty average so far. He's not playing badly though. Then we get number 9s, 2 guys that have been playing kind of the third fiddle for the Springbok. Nahamba, he hasn't been picked there yet, but both of them kind of gunning for that third scrum half position. Sanele Nahamba versus Herschel Yankees. Yankees, we know he's not in his best form at the moment. Nhamba, I also don't think he's in his best form at the moment. A lot of bad passes coming from the guy as well. A lot of low ones on the feet of Currie Cup, sometimes going over him as well. I thought they looked a little bit better when Jaden Hendrikse was at number 9. But look, Nhamba and Yankees, both of them are good players. They are the type of players that you want in big games, who would probably perform well in those games. Then we get number 10, Currie Cup, I'd say is the better option here, the better player between the number 10s. He's been in great form so far. I wouldn't have a problem with him being picked for the Springboks at this stage. Tim Swiel, he shocked me the other day with that massive kick of his. I didn't think he has 50 meters in him. So maybe the Western Province can get a couple of penalties in this game from long ranges, but Currie Cup, he has more distance in him between the two. Marius Louw, he comes back at number 12 versus Rikus Pretorius. Both of them kind of similar players, like bashing into players, very good at defense as well. Rikus Pretorius just a little bit taller than Marius Louw. At number 13, it's Lucanio versus Dan du Plessis. I think is one of those defensive organizers. Dan du Plessis, very attack-minded, so he has kind of found the gap a couple of times this season. I would have went with Ruan Nel, because Ruan Nel is a very good runner with the ball, very good tackler as well, and he does add a little bit when it comes to breakdown time as well. He is good at stealing the ball there as well. And number 14 for the Sharks, they bring in Corsi. Very good for them to have their Springbok winger back as well. Penke at number 11 for them versus Angelo Davids and Peterson. All of the wingers are flyers. All of them are very quick. Can't wait to see them going up against each other. Then at number 15, it's Fassi versus Willemse. Willemse might find himself gunning for a number 15 spot at the Springboks at the moment. I don't think he proved himself at number 10 to be picked there again. But who is backup for Willie Leroux at this moment for the Springboks? Is it Fassi maybe? Is it Willemse? Fassi hasn't played a lot yet. Willemse is probably the more obvious pick when it comes to experience at the Springboks. But Fassi, he's been just gunning through to the Springboks for a season now. But he's been missing this whole Currie Cup unlocked season so far. Then we get to the benches. Dan Jooste versus Ntubeni. Again, Ntubeni being the better hooker there. Both sets of props on the benches isn't the best sets of props with Lions and Fushia. Fushia, he's not too bad. Then you get Majola and Kumbarai. Very shocked with Kumbarai. I thought he's going to be very good at the Sharks coming from the Western Province to them. He hasn't done that. He's a very big guy, but he's kind of been in the second strings every time. Every time he gets up against a big guy, they push him away. Then you get Chris van Zyl versus Andrews. Both of them could have started this game if they wanted to. Arends van Ryn versus Bolly. Jaco Coetzee versus Hendrikse. Hendrikse being a scrum half, Jaco Coetzee being a flanker. So the Western Province targeting a 6-2 split, probably targeting to win with their pack like they have been doing this whole season so far. Ruan Nel, you have to look out for him when he comes on from the bench. He kind of has been doing his thing from the bench this whole season. Jeremy Ward and then Lebok from the bench. Guys, up till this point, I haven't made a pick so far, so I'm going to do it now. Look, the rookies are backing the Western Province to win this game between 3 or 4 points. I kind of think, looking at this side, there's 3 key changes for the Western Province that they made. It's Kitshoff being out. It's Coetzee not being in the starting team for the breakdowns, both of them. And then Ruan Nel, I thought, should probably have started. So that kind of changes my mind a little bit. I'm still a Western Province fan, so in this one, I might be a little bit biased. I'm going to go with the Western Province by 1 point, since they are at home and that's the last game maybe at this Newlands Stadium. So 1 point for the Western Province. Let me know your prediction down in the comments below. Also, check out these videos next to me. Hit the subscribe button if you like the channel, and then I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.